Hi, gang. This is a little impromptu. This is a mea culpa, and this is specifically focused on the Divorced Dad series. So I've been getting a lot of negative feedback that the ideas that I have aren't realistic, and that how can you possibly, like one of the things in my latest video was living together with your ex, co-parenting for the benefit of your children. And I've gotten a lot of pushback on that. So I thought I would do this impromptu video and apologize to the people that felt that my ideas are just unrealistic, and especially in a COVID world, that where you're forced to be together, with your spouse, and maybe you had freedoms before. Maybe you were traveling for work. Maybe you spent the whole day at the office, and now you're at home. You're with your kids. You're dealing with stuff that you've never had to deal with. And I mean, I get it. I understand. I'm not some alien. Well, sometimes I think that I am. But these are things that have worked for me. I've been, as I always say in my videos, I've been happily divorced for the past 11 years. And everything that I say in my videos, in my Divorced Dad series, are things that I've actually put into play. And I continue in real time. Most of the negative feedback that I've been getting has been on Facebook and Reddit, in divorced men's group, and places like that. But one of the things that I ask is that before looking at just the title of my video and assuming that it can't work, actually listening to my video, because I give examples of things that I've done in my actual life and that they've worked. And one of the things I'm planning to put out is that I drove across the country to take my oldest son to college with his stepdad. So my former wife's husband, who she's been with now for the past 8 years, a little bit over a year ago, we drove from Los Angeles to Vermont to take him to college. Just the three of us, 3 Leos in a minivan, and both my son's stepdad and myself, we had our birthdays while we were on the road. And some of the feedback I got when I mentioned that in Reddit was that, well, the only way you were able to do it was because your ex-wife wasn't there, which isn't true at all. It just so happens that she married a great guy that's really fascinating. And as we drove cross country, I had my road trip playlist of thousands of songs they could listen to, and all these podcasts set up, and I was all ready to go. And I would say maybe we listened to 30 minutes of a podcast as we started out of LA. And from then on, for the next week or so during the drive, we just talked the entire time. And my son, he had his headphones on. He was, watching shows, playing video games or whatever he was doing. I don't even know. But he was basically in the back seat while myself and his stepdad just talked about everything. And so for people that don't believe that you can have, great relationships, your ex-wife, I'm here to tell you, you're cock blocking yourself, guys. Because wouldn't you want to have a great relationship, or at least an amicable relationship with the mother of your children? Your kids vibrate at a higher level. The younger they are, the more they vibrate, energetically pick up things from especially what their mom is going through. Remember, they spend about 9 months in their mother's womb, then on average 6 months of breastfeeding. That's a connection that fathers will never have with their kids. It doesn't matter what you do, it's just biological. So even if you don't say anything, but you're just, putting out negative energy, like in your heart, you really want to see something happen to your ex-wife, well, the kids are going to pick that up, and that's going to mess them up. So if you care about your kids, you're going to be as nice as you possibly can be to their mother. And remember, you called her in. You called this person into your life. And I was just reading something today where a guy's just making disparaging remarks about his ex-wife. I don't know if he has kids or not together. I mean, if you don't have kids, then you never have to talk to that person again. But if you do, there's a reason that you were put together with this person. So use it to help you out. I mean, use it for the benefit. I could go on for days, the things that I've learned from my former wife while we were married and since we've been divorced, that have made my life a whole lot better, and our kids they feel better. I mean, they just feel better, and they don't understand, while none of their friends whose parents are divorced have the kind of relationship that their parents have. And so it doesn't have to be that way, gang. There's nothing that I'm doing special other than putting my ego in check every time something is real. And when it comes down to it, it's something that I'm doing and I'm projecting it on to my former wife, something I'm angry about. And the thing is, when I pull myself back and just sit down, take some deep breaths, and realize that she's not doing anything to me, it's the universe trying to get my attention about something, and then I focus on that, and I meditate on that. I meditate on the things that I'm creating and the things I have control over, instead of dwelling on things that she's doing that I feel affect me because of the way that I was raised. They're just different. No one has a corner on the truth. I mean, there's no such thing as good or bad in the spiritual world. In the physical world, yeah, of course, you can say, somebody's bad because they shot somebody else. Well, yes, and there's consequences for that. I mean, there's physical world consequences about going to jail for the rest of your life or something like that. When somebody, let's say, cuts you off in traffic, and for you to be like, God damn it, that person, they screwed up my life, or they messed me up, now I'm going to be, it's going to take me an additional 10 seconds to get to where I was going. But here's the thing. For all you know, in the spiritual world, that person was sent to cut you off and take that extra 10, 20, 30 seconds, because had you gone the time that you were going to go, had they not cut you off, you may have got into an accident. You don't know what would have happened down the road. So that's what I mean. And I'm somebody that's, super intense, super competitive. I hate to lose. So it's not like I'm some sort of, just some woo-woo guy. But that was one of the first things I did was years ago when I started to get more into Zen Buddhism, is I just wouldn't honk at anybody. I mean, the only time I ever honk is if somebody is, falling asleep at the wheel at a stoplight, and it's just dangerous. If I don't get them to move, someone's going to smash into me, and I'm going to smash into them for safety purposes, just things like that. But I'm not going to honk at somebody because they cut me off, or because maybe they're not going as fast as I would like them to do, because I didn't plan accordingly to get to where I need to go, in time. So I'm riding on their bumper. But that was one of the greatest things I ever did, and that was over 20 years ago. I just stopped honking, and it's a baby steps. So anyway, if you think that everything I say is bullshit, I challenge you, address me, make a comment in the section. Tell me how it's not possible to do what I've done. And here's another thing. People say it's not manly to let your ex win, or to let her, have her way. But it takes a lot more guts to be able to say, hey, you know what? I see that you're struggling and you could use support by just not having to listen to my bullshit. And then just stuffing that in a bag and letting her have that win. I mean, she's the mother of your child or children, for Pete's sake. Let her have as many wins as possible. It's not going to kill you. All right, I am done with my rant. What do you have to say about it? And humor me. Just try it one time. Try letting your ex-wife have something that's important to her. Watch what happens with your relationship with her, but even more importantly, the relationship with your children, because they're going to vibe off of that. They're going to feel that. It's going to make them feel better inside, instead of feeling like shit because the way that you and your ex have been treating each other. And as I always say, it takes two to tango. But if one person walks away, the dance is ended. All right, happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating that. And I'm going to go watch some anime with my son, who's back home from college. Take care.